Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is I, Hyacinth. I'm back again, but today, as you can see, I'm showing you my entire screen. You can see OBS right here. You see, I decided that before the next Armored Core NIKKE build video, I'm putting off HSS Equestria, Half Star Saber Spotlight Equestria, for a while now because I need to finish the script and the art for it. But I thought I'd take you through my thought process really quick. So as you can see, right now I'm doing Viper. I've done quite a few well, I'm mostly going through like this actual like list of my favorite NIKKE that I have here. Anyone's outside of that list, you guys are gonna have to let me know and I'll get to them. But yeah, as you can see, well, not as you can see, well, yeah, as you can see, I am showing you both windows here. I am doing Viper right now, but I thought I'd take you guys through my thought process a little bit. So here's the thing with NIKKE and how it differs quite a bit from other mecha things that I'm into, Armored Core mainly. You see, NIKKEs, they do have manufacturers, as a lot of you know, since the game is quite popular as of right now. They do have manufacturers, but you see, no manufacturer specializes in well, they don't really specialize in a specific, I guess, body type or weapon upon first glance. That does make it a bit difficult for me to just well, assign certain parts and whatnot to certain characters. But I've generally come up with the idea that Tetra would be like GA and MSAC, as well as Cougar, basically anyone under the sort of GA umbrella. While Macillus, since they're high tech and they have Macillus has Matus and whatnot. Macillus would be like Interior Union and Taurus and Aquavit. The Goddess Squadron and pretty much all the Pilgrims, anyone who's a part of like that specific group, they would be Ray Leonard, since Ray Leonard would oh my god, since Ray Leonard would be they're like, it's like a product of a bygone era, but still like powerful and reliable. All of the Elia frame and whatnot. Thermidor still uses it, so obviously it's not garbage. And the Legion would be Legion would be Omir and BFF mainly. Sometimes with some pitching in from like Algebra and Rosenthal, since I'm pretty sure BFF does not make that many parts. I'm pretty sure they only have like a few frame parts. Actually, no, hold on. Yeah, I'm pretty sure BFF mainly makes weapons. They have more weapons than they do frame parts. So, yeah, I did. So like Elysian has like the widest selection to choose from, but that started to bite me in the ass a bit. So as you can see, I am kind of at a loss for what I'm going to do for Viper. Yeah, I've settled on the GAN02 New Sunshine head and the legs. I don't really go out of my way to pick the core or the arms because I genuinely don't. I generally, not genuinely. Well, I guess yeah, genuinely, since I just don't like the way the core looks. I mean, the whole the rest of the frame is fine, but I mean the core just kind of just looks a bit wonky. The core just makes it look strange. So I don't change it. I don't think it would be good for Viper either. Anyways, also another thing is I do try to somewhat replicate the general body type of each NIKKE with the build. So as you might see, as you might see with Rumani in the second NIKKE build video, I had her use despite the fact that she's Tetra, therefore supposed to be GA, I had her use quite a bit of, hold on, let me just, yeah, I had her use quite a bit of, I had her use quite a few Rosenthal parts, and I don't even I haven't even given her the right weapons. I've given her a radar, and I was given some good criticism that I shouldn't exactly use radars, and you know it is valid criticism. None of the NIKKE really are the radar-y type, so. Yeah, that is a good that is a good bit of insight. But I think Viper is where things get different because, as you know, she has her phone around constantly. I feel as if, you know, like for one, like a good head with great camera functionality would be like, you know, a good choice here. But on top of that, I feel like radars actually would be of use here, especially like the really good radars, like this one. Yeah, this one in particular. This one, you know, pretty much has like most of like the best stats, besides like refresh augment. It's kind of lacking in that, but you know, I can always just put another radar with good refresh augment. Actually, I don't know if things stack at all when it comes to radars. Will like one radar just trump the other if it has the better stats overall, or will the stats stack? I don't know. But either way, I think just for aesthetic sakes, I'm going to have both radars here. But yeah. So I guess that narrows it down a bit. I'm at a bit less of a loss. I was also told that I should refrain from using any kind of like shoulder extensions, unless like, you know, the character would, you know, like use shoulder extensions. But I think it might be a bit of character for Viper. I mean, I wouldn't say she's like very defensive, I suppose. I mean, she's not the most invincible of NIKKE. If you know, you know. But God, should I keep that in? I don't know if I should keep that in. I'm gonna keep that in because I don't like it. but yeah, I think she might use flares. Same time, the build's already wide enough. You've got a very wide boy here, so I might just switch to lightweight parts, despite the fact that she's supposed to be GA, because this whole like manufacturer thing is starting to get annoying when it comes to like build variety. I am starting to rely on the same frame parts over and over and over again, and I don't like doing that. I don't like doing more of the same. It's the reason why I kind of stopped having fun with Armored Core 6, because I just sort of, you know, at some point, there are just a certain set of parts that work better for a certain kind of build. So, instead of like parts, you know, making the build look different, it's starting to be like the colors and like specific weapons that make builds look different. I don't like that at all, really. So, by time Part 3 of NIKKE builds come out, you know, Viper might just be using a whole different build. But I don't know if I'll even use Viper, since I'm pretty sure I already have another 4, since I'm doing these in 4s. That's like the most time efficient, but still like gives a video of decent length. I don't really like making shorts all that much. I mean, I was told they'd net me quite a bit of views, but if you can't tell, I'm not exactly doing this for just the views. But another thing, I am also doing this sort of video in general because because I want you all to get used to videos where where I'm talking essentially, because it took me a while, more than a longer time than I'd like to admit, but I have realized that I have very, very separate audiences. I have my Armored Core audience, which is like the majority of my audience because of those animation re-uploads. I have my Gundam audience, which is much smaller. In fact, I think it's like the second smallest. Maybe it's like the second smallest of my audiences here. I've got my Azurlane and NIKKE audiences, which are like the third and fourth smallest. And of course, I have the Half-Star Saber audience, which is the smallest of my audiences, which makes sense, you know, as like an original piece of content. It's my job to like establish Half-Star Saber and, you know, make it something that you all want to tune into, which I will, which is what I'm definitely going to do that. I will stop at nothing to make sure that Half-Star Saber is something that people like, and, you know, want to look at. Well, yeah, and here's another problem I run into: the offhand, well, I guess in quotes for this game, offhand weapon. Yeah, it's a bit difficult selecting a good offhand weapon, because well, I usually like to go for machine guns, since they go well as an offhand weapon with quite a few different weapons. Like, this has been the case since like early Armored Core, back when they first introduced offhand machine guns. You know, they coupled quite well with most different weapons, but, you know, of course, not every NIKKE uses a machine gun, and yeah, and in general, I should probably, you know, get out of using machine guns, but also, rifles are just kind of like, I don't really like rifles all too much. I like them aesthetically, you know, they're very blocky and a nice length, and I like the way they look. They look very cool, but at the same time, yeah, they're somewhat slow fire rate usually, and like they aren't usually too good unless, you know, you're doubling up on them. So that's why I don't really like to. That's why I don't really like to use rifles all too much. But I think I'll go with the rifle for this. And as for the pistols, actually, I'm gonna start to, because I am trying to balance like aesthetics with what the character would use, with also what is good stats wise, which is why a lot of the times I've used this shotgun. You know, it may not seem good at first glance, but of course, when you check out the expanded stats screen, it's a fair bit better than these two stats wise. In general, it's just good for up close and personal combat. But these two shotguns have higher destructive potential, I suppose. Upon like the first, like, because this shows, I believe, all the stats that like matter for someone who isn't trying to really like crunch numbers here. Like all of the stats that really matter to someone who just wants to like select a weapon that is good for their play style quickly. So, you know, it shows the two types of, well, not the two types of damage, but the damage type, and how good it is against the energy shield, its range, and, you know, its magazine capacity, which I suppose is all you really need to know if you're going off need to know here. I thought I did something about that. Hold on. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, so, it's it's fine enough. But you know, I like to look at the expanded stat screen every once and again and see how my build is coming together overall. Which I also have been told that, you know, that's not exactly the best way to build, looking at the expanded stat screen. And of course, you know, Last Raven, looking at that number grade system, which I've been told is insanely off. Like, there are some builds that get all E number grades in, like, different, well, not all E's, because that would just be, you would have to choose nothing. But, like, are, like, all D's and C's, and they absolutely crush not only story missions, but, like arena opponents, and also PvP tournaments. So, yeah, I've been told that just listening to all these different stats and taking them at like face value is not exactly the best thing to do. So, I definitely do take it with like the tiniest pinch of salt, but at the same time, I also like blue number. I like blue number, so I look at stat. I have a very easily satisfied lizard brain. So yeah. But I think I will settle for this for now. And another part of my process is testing it against the AI-controlled Suika AC here, a wild Tellus with laser weaponry mainly. Yeah. Oh yeah, I didn't finish my thought process for why I would add flares. But it's mainly because Viper kind of tends to like avoid, well, not like personality-wise, but tends to like manage somehow to like avoid most forms of like conflict and or damage. I don't think I've ever seen her like get hurt in any of these up until the special story point that happens that I probably shouldn't be spoiling. But you know what? I can just put a spoiler on this when I post it in the subreddit, which is still something that I do. I'm getting hit a lot. Oh yeah, I haven't tuned this AC either. Oh my god. You guys are gonna see this and think that I'm garbage at this game. I reckon. But I have S rank for the entire game on original hardware. If that part means anything. So, like, you know, I'm not the worst. Oh, those are vertical flares. Can you tell I've never used those before? Yeah, I don't really use flares all that much. I just kind of either dodge missiles or shoot them down because I'm a gamer with skill. God, I can't believe it. That was supposed to be a joke, but it was still stupid. Please unsubscribe. Yeah, so I think I might just change to flash rockets. I'm a bit better with these than I am flares, actually, and I hate rockets because I'm bad at the game. But I don't like rockets all that much. I really don't. You know, this is a game where you have a lockbox and not, you don't rely on manual aim all that much. So having a weapon that utilizes manual aim when you aren't going out of your way to use it in this game usually is, it can be a little bit. Like, hold on, I just be having rogue thoughts popping in my head. But I think Viper might benefit from a shotgun and a sniper. Because the shotgun she uses is pretty long anyways. Wait, hold on, let me check. Yeah, she does use a shotgun. So yeah, she might benefit from both a shotgun and a sniper. I'm going to up the radar refresh rate and ECM resistance. As for primal armor, I'm gonna put y'all on game. Ugh. Only if you want to get the most out of the least for tuning primal armor, tune legs and arms because there's two of them. Therefore, they'll do it. Kill me, please. Yeah. So yeah. So where was I? What thought process was I going through? I haven't taken my meds today, so I'm just like discarding thought process after thought process. I believe I was talking about the fact that Viper has, in the story, skirts around fights relatively easily. Yeah, I suppose with that said, you might think that I would like tune boosting, but I think her boosting's already all right. I might just fast forward through, try to cut out the painting process. So if I do, here is the inaugural, not inaugural, but mandatory like 3 seconds of silence or so before I start painting, and then after. And we're back. So yeah, I have finished the color scheme. I'm going to pull up the full screen again. Pull up a picture of Viper. Hopefully, it doesn't get me like demonetized or like, you know, my channel deleted or anything. There we go. This one. Right here. So, I'm going to turn my display capture back on. Boom. Okay, yeah, so I do like to take coloring it one limb at a time, essentially. So I will like choose the base color. The base color in this case was a slightly off white, and I will just go through each limb and section of the AC, and I will paint it the colors that I believe work for that specific section. So the arms, I tried to make as majority pink as possible without being out of place, because of course, you know, her jacket, and even though, you know, the white of the jacket is on the inside, I kind of, you know, if I made the main color pink, it might look a bit off. I used a bit of gray here, even though there isn't like that much gray on her. I think it works. It looks good. I think you all might be inclined to agree. On the chest section, I used some darker reds on these specific sections right here. These little circular bits on the front of the core, because her choker has those darker red bits. I've got her horns right here. I don't know if I can zoom in, but I do have her horns right here. Shoulder extensions, the flash rockets. They're also in that same shade of pink. Initially, I settled on this more hot pink. That was going to be what I used for these lighter pink sections. But then I sort of realized that this lighter pink works a bit better. It's a bit less gaudy. It's still eye-catching, and I can still use the more vivid and saturated pink on like smaller, lesser sections. And while it doesn't it doesn't give off the same metallic holographic sheen that her clothing has, it still works. And I am glad, and that's one thing that Armored Core 6 has over every Armored Core game, if nothing else. The fact that you can, you know, change like the sheen and reflectiveness of your AC. I'm glad that they added that. I am glad. I don't think that's something that even Halo had, because I do like to compare Armored Core's customization to Halo at times. Because Halo really did have something good going with its customization, until Infinite came along and ruined everything like it did with every other aspect of Halo. So, yeah, 1 second. Alright, yeah, so next is Viper's logo. So I could use the Bacillus logo I made right here, but I am going to try and make either a snake or the exotic, the little exotic X. So first I'm going to try my hand at the snake. Snake should be relatively easy. Should be in the nature section. Or the creatures section, sorry. Creatures 1. Let's see if they have a snake here. Seems not. But I am relatively far away from my screen, so they could have a snake, but it's just not in the shape that I'd expect of a snake. But I'm gonna choose if I choose the freaking swan here. I mean, it's in a similar shape to a snake. It's all squiggled up and stuff. But no, I'm gonna see if I can do the exotic X. Alright, so for the exotic X, I'm going to need 2 extremely round squares. These will do. Alright. I'm gonna try and get this even. But I have like some slight OCD problems, so I might not get it even. Alright. No. That is not... Those 2 colors are not the same. Yeah, there's a very limited selection here. Because I don't want to put white on off-white here, I'm just going to try and copy. I'm going to try and just copy what's going on here. I'm going to hope that it's equal. I'm pretty sure it is equal and even. Any other part of the exotic X. I can't do any text. I'm like at Armored Core 6. That's another thing Armored Core 6 has over any of the has over any other game, like customization related. Armored Core 6, when it comes to customization, is pretty bare bones, which I guess is the point. It is the first of the generation, but yeah, it does feel a lot more bare bones than any other Armored Core game. Like I played through Armored Core 1. And the Armored Core 1 felt a bit better customization-wise, but I guess that's just because Armored Core 1 does not facilitate going back and making a bunch of character cosplay builds, I suppose. Which I guess that's what makes Armored Core 6's selection of parts feel so cramped. Is that you can do a lot of the things that you could do in 4th and 5th gen. Like, you know, go back, make a bunch of different character builds, and, you know, assign them to, like, different save slots. It's much more intuitive than, excuse me. It's much more intuitive than the way, the other AC games did it, so... Well, yeah, then 3rd and 2nd and, 1st gen did it, so, you know, you actively, like, want to go back and make, like, a bunch of, different builds. Alright, I don't exactly... Alright, so closer to... I actually do have, like not like a model, but, like, yeah, I'm using the same photo, and, like, studying, where the, excuse me, I have the hiccups, where the logo is placed on the chest, and trying to, like, generally match its, like, location. So it's sort of like on the inner chest. The inner chest, sorry. Excuse me. Oh my god, that was a bad one. Yeah, so it's like about here. I don't have, like, a zipper or anything to, like, scale it with, but, like, it's close to the middle of the chest. So, like, about here. Excuse me. About here. I think I'll go with that. Yeah, I think for now, that's Viper. Yeah. I think I'd say I did a pretty bang-up job with her. Yep, so now I just name her. And boom, that's the process of how I make these ACs. Sometimes I do forget to tune them until, like, the last minute or until I'm like already like through making them. Oh yeah, so I'm just gonna take you through a few of the ones that I'm a bit less confident on real quick. So first, Quincy. I did as good as a job as I thought I could do with her. Tried to get the weapons and back units to mimic her hair. I gave her a radar as well because, you know, as an escape artist, I felt like she'd want to know the area a bit more. So, radar. I gave her the clack arms because, there's not exactly a good one-to-one for her machine pistols. I didn't want to use any of the machine guns since most of them don't have like that same sort of look as her machine pistols. And of course, the ones that did have a similar look and feel were, of course, the Ray Leonard machine guns, and those would kind of go out. Those would kind of not be in line with like the whole sort of like thing that I'm trying to go for here, which is Ray Leonard is only for like goddess and pilgrims. Is pilgrims the right terminology? Yeah, I think it is pilgrim. So for goddess, for goddess and like any other pilgrims, any of like the wandering surface NIKKE. I'm actually quite confident about Ruby, but I just want to show her that you guys are nonetheless, because I am really proud of what I did with Ruby here. Yeah, so this is Ruby. I think I did a pretty good job with her. She does have a similar build to White Glint, though, which I did try to avoid. Excuse me. Again, I did want to try to avoid White Glint. Oh, I'm super confident about so I don't think I need any criticism. So I think I did a good job. And there's Rosanna. I think I did a pretty good job with Rosanna, but I am once again. I am a bit iffy on her machine gun. There's once again in Armored Core not exactly a good one-to-one with a Tommy gun, because if they made a Tommy gun for Nests, that would be kind of stupid. Ignoring the fact that Armored Core 6 has the mech-sized SPOS 12, which I'm pretty sure in lore would be the size of a school bus. And Armored Core 1 has like a mech-sized FAMAS. So, I guess not entirely stupid, but at the same time, it's a mech-sized Tommy gun. There's that, given what a it would be just a bit stupider than those other two. Because those two are perfectly modern military, but a Tommy gun is kind of like, it has a very different status as far as I'm aware, as a normal civilian who's not exactly too much of a gun nut anymore. Excuse me. I gotta do something about that. Other than that, I feel like the machine gun's the one that's off with Rosanna. I gave her like a pseudo, pseudo White Glint build, a bit closer to the actual Espino White Glint, because of her general like status within the Outer Rim. So I thought her and the other members of Underworld Queen would have some builds of like characters who are like in Armored Core, like really famous and adept at combat, or infamous and adept at combat. Then there's Cinderella. Oh, that's hard. Then there's Cinderella. I did what I could with her. No real one-to-one for the glass slippers. But I think I did what I could. I think I did pretty well, actually. But I think this could actually use some criticism. Then there's Mihara. And I actually recently fixed Mihara. She had all of the rectifiers still, but it was a double Kurosawa build for some reason. I don't think she would actually, dual-wield Kurosawas. I think this is much more in line for her. Excuse me, with the rectifiers and all. She would definitely build for defense, given that she's the masochist and can take a hit and who likes to. So she would definitely have defensive build. But that's it. Those are all my NIKKE builds so far. So the next one should be Rosanna, Frima, Soda, and Ruby. Those should be the next four, unless I'm feeling different and I want to, unless I'm feeling different and I want to showcase Quincy and Viper or something like that. But I might just have someone else done, and Quincy and Viper might just be a part of Group 4, alongside the redone versions of some of Counters. So, excuse me. Yeah, I think that's it. I think that's all. Yeah, that's all for this one. I'm glad you stuck around if you stuck around this far. Thanks for watching, and yeah, see ya.